Am I here? I am here. Okay. I have no clue why that did what it did. Oh, where am I? Where am I? Hello, hello. I am here. I'm gonna pull up this. Welcome everybody. We are going to. Oh, I don't want a browser. Window. Browser. Yes. Gutenberg. There we are. That is not what I wanted to shrink. Browser. Boop. And then we can make it big if we need. So we're starting off with giants. We're mentioning giants. I thought we'd start out with some Chesterton giant passages to kind of set the stage and then kind of talk about it, and then we can hop into some Elden Ring. I think that might be the best route. So, first passage is only with one aspect of humility that we are here concerned. Humility was largely meant as a restraint upon the arrogance and infinity of the appetite of man. He was always outstripping his mercies with his own newly invented needs. His very power of enjoyment destroyed half his joys. By asking for pleasure, he lost the chief pleasure. For the chief pleasure is surprise. Hence, it became evident that if a man would make his world large, he must be also always making himself small. Even the haughty visions, the tall cities, and the toppling pinnacles are the creations of humility. Giants that tread down forests like grass are the creations of humility. Towers that vanish upward above the loneliest stars are the creations of humility. For towers are not tall unless we look up at them, and giants are not giants unless they are larger than we. All of this giantesque imagination, which is perhaps the mightiest of the pleasures of man, is at the bottom entirely humble. It's impossible without humility to enjoy anything, even pride. And then we have our second one, mention of giants. This is the one that came to my mind. But I deal here with what ethic and philosophy come from being fed on fairy tales. If I were describing them in detail, I could note many noble and healthy principles that arise from them. There is the chivalrous lesson of Jack the Giant Killer, that giants should be killed because they are gigantic. It is a manly mutiny against pride as such, for the rebel is older than all the kingdoms, and the Jacobin has more tradition than the Jacobite. There is a lesson of Cinderella, which is the same as that of the Magnificat. Exaltavit humilis. There is the great lesson of Beauty and the Beast, that a thing must be loved before it is lovable. There's a terrible allegory of the Sleeping Beauty, which tells how human creatures were blessed with all birthday gifts, yes, yet cursed with death, and how death may also be softened to sleep. But I'm not concerned with any of the separate statutes of Elfland, but with the whole spirit of its law, which I learnt before I could speak, and shall retain when I cannot write. I'm concerned with a certain way of looking at life, which was created in me by the fairy tales, and has since been meekly ratified by mere facts. So, this kind of sideways kind of comes into what I was thinking about for this stream. And I can kind of pull up to where I don't know if I'll be able to make a window of this. But I posted it in my notes here. I was talking to a couple people in a group chat. Skin consent is among them, and I had put my thoughts down here this way, and this is a reaction to something somebody else wrote. But I love the current dynamics of everybody wanting to be the little guy against the establishment. We're so wrapped up in this narrative that we have no clue what to do when we actually have power. Part of this is that it's not clear what the use of power in Christianity looks like. Christ laid down his power to serve those beneath himself. So, what does it mean for a Christian to lead a community? Is the proper response to refuse or to find some place where agency and Christ meet? I'm not super familiar with Nietzsche, but I get the impression that this is what he was struggling with. And I would say my struggle is from the opposite direction. And to kind of clarify that a little bit more, I think there's this sense in which Nietzsche, his frustration with Christianity is that it disregarded the powerful, right? Uh, the Ubermensch. It didn't have a place for them, and so he rejected it based off of that. And my thought is, from within, it's not clear what power looks like. Like, what is the use for it? So that's what I wanted to kind of explore and dig into a little bit here. I wish I had a video to go along with it, because I feel like a video would help communicate things. But how do we kind of dig into this? I guess it would start with this David and Goliath kind of narrative that we've kind of built up for a lot of these things. That there's a sense in which we all think of ourselves as the David, and the enemy is the Goliath, the giant that needs to be killed, like Chesterton writes. That there's everybody else is the haughty or prideful giant, and we're the one who will bring humility and humble them. And it's this rebellion based view of the world. You could bring it back to Protestantism probably, but it doesn't lie solely with Protestantism. You see this with every other kind of Western construction. I just say Western because it's just what I'm familiar with. But I look at the Catholic Church in America is very much poised as an alternative to the Protestant Big Eva perspective. That both political parties are the alternative to the other political party. That the other political party is the real one in charge, and we're the little guy, and so we're going to take them down. And Joker Boys, I'm just a dog chasing cars. I don't have a plan. Yeah, it's a very let's tear things down. Let's rebuild things the way that we want to see them. And no one seems to ever take credit for being the one in charge. No one ever seems to think that they are the big dog, the one that can actually make a difference. And if they are, they often point to someone else and say, let's pull up the picture for this. Gustav Dorr. I just love this. I feel like this is just so good for the story. We'll stay away from the severe gore. We'll leave the people shocked. And so what it's easy to see what it may be in our society, right? And I think this is kind of, we're so far removed from the experience of, the harshness of a strong leadership, that we are kind of deep in the narrative of the rebellion, the rebel, the one who is going to take down the oppressive leadership and replace them with something new and greater. I think back to George R. R. Martin's critique of Lord of the Rings, where he says he doesn't like Return of the King because when in the end there's this kind of happy ending, this resolution with Aragorn coming to the throne, and the king has returned and will take his throne. There's no gore, it's door. And George R. R. Martin responds and says, what was the tax policy? How did that play out? And it's this fundamental kind of there is no right rule, that all power is inherently corrupt. And the problem is it can't work that way, right? There has to be a right way to rule. There has to be something, or it's all kind of nihilistic, meaningless. It all kind of just falls apart. Um, and so it's just a how do we process this? How do we move forward? And it's not clear that there is any good, even from a Christian perspective. I struggle with this, and maybe people can correct me. I think there have been quite a few works along these lines. I think of City of God for one. Is this work to try to create something? This is one of the vices of this, the vice of the Anabaptists, my bros. I'm not super familiar with the Anabaptists, so this might is it the Anabaptist is the rebellious kind of nature, right? Because I feel like this is extended out to everything. This is kind of reached a point where there's no redemption. It's the you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Like the spirit of the Dark Knight has kind of sunken deep into the cultural consciousness, that we are kind of here now. And yeah, absolute pacifists. I think that's part of it, right? Like that there is this standard of behavior that I don't think is correct. That we do this thing where we put a standard of pacifism that I don't think even Jesus, like the highest ideal, doesn't even hold to. That we kind of put it across the board, and that's not right either. Um, but that's kind of the way that we've built everything around. That's kind of the way that we've treated all of this. Is that this is the way to go. Non-participants in the world. Okay. Yeah, I can see that too. And that's I think this comes back to what I was getting at as well, which is you have the two kind of sides where, or you have a few sides, right? You have one side which is non-participation. It's saying, the world can go on, but my community will do its own thing and will survive. You have the other end, which is, we'll lead a rebellion to overthrow the government because anything is better. And I think that's the core, that's the heart of it all. Anything is better than what we have right now. I think that's kind of the Gen Z feeling. That's kind of the Gen Z spirit. That's the spirit of Luigi Mangione. That's the that is that. Um and I don't mean to, outright call him that or relate him totally to this, but it is like the Luciferian kind of perspective. It's the total rebellion without any regard to what's on the other end, because there is no righteous rule. And then there's something in the middle, right? And I think Paul kind of has an interesting, Saint Paul has an interesting perspective where he's speaking to his people and he says, submit to authorities. And then, the authority that he's referring to in that passage is Nero, of all people. And so there is this element of Martin Luther King, submission to authority. What was it? What's it called? I'm gonna lose it. But taking the consequences of your actions. Basically, if you're gonna break a law, that you are going to take the punishment. And in taking the punishment publicly, the injustice of this punishment is made apparent. So you have somewhat of a framework there, but this is the framework from the bottom. This is on the ground. This is how we behave. So if you have I know most people haven't seen it. I'm saying this for Skankenstein basically, but you have the Jonathan Peugeot. He talks about the hierarchy, and so you have but it's the basic graph that you see in all the things where it's like the serfs are at the bottom, and then you have the merchants, and then you have the priests, and then you have the princes and the rulers, and it's the triangle because you have less people at the top and more people at the bottom, and it also represents the relative, importance or influence. And down here, it's really obvious. And maybe a little bit up here, we can kind of see how you're supposed to behave. But at the very top, it feels very ambiguous and very weird. And you could make an argument, and I think this might be kind of a controversial one, which would be maybe you're not supposed to even try to get up there in any respect. And if you accidentally end up there, then, good for you, and you can kind of do whatever you can, or, do your best. And maybe you're the best person to be there. But otherwise, like, you should be trying to avoid that as much as possible. Um, I don't know if that's right, but that seems to be something. But this basic kind of rebellious perspective, um, Chesterton obviously is it's all for it in some ways, right? He talks about the the Jacobin has more tradition than the Jacobite. That there is this kind of righteous rebellion that is in the blood of humanity, that it's in the traditions itself, which is odd, right? It's a the Jacobite has more tradition, or the Jacobin has more tradition. That the rebellious one is like being traditional in himself, and so built in, integrating, uh, becoming one. Like you have to have both. You have to have the critique, and you have to have the basis, the tradition, and both have to come together and fuse together. And so, you know, I think that's kind of that's what Chesterton is getting at, right? Is that he talks about a change being the grooves of change, right? This certain level of there's no way to escape the structure. Who was it who said this? Someone said that. Oh no, I think this is an idea from Peugeot. Maybe I'm wrong. But there's no way to escape the characters, the archetypes that exist in the way that we tell our stories, right? Often when you're trying to escape the archetypes, you people will play. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. People will play the fool. They'll, you know, be the rebellious one, the one that fights against. But the problem is the fool is a character in the story. It is an archetype that's built in. The devil is an archetype that's built into the story in the way we tell it. And so there is no escape from this basic structure. You can't tear it out fully, uh, because there is tradition in it. Um, but how do we construct a corrective mechanism? And I think we've already kind of done it a lot, which is, you know, I mean, civil rights movement, all these things, these are all corrective mechanisms to try to repair something. But on the other end is like, how do we've lost the art of being able to have something that is just, that's just, that is the way that things just are. How do you have a stable government that just, does its thing? Um, and we're kind of on this loose ground that's kind of constantly being broken up and moving. I hate to pick at it. In my church today, we were singing a song, and in the song, one of the verses goes, let me look it up. We'll pull it up. Break down the walls of all my religion. So this is the song that we were singing, and I I don't know. I was bothered by this today. And I don't think I'm normally super bothered by stuff like this, but this is a basic message of surrender. Right? Surrender to God, all these type of things. I will make room for you to move. And um and then the bridge, the bridge is where all the fancy stuff happens in the song. Um but it's shake up the ground of all my tradition, break down the walls of all my religion, your way is better. And this is one of those things where it's like it's true. Here, we'll zoom in so we can actually see. In one way, it's true, right? It's I want the corrective mechanism. I want to be corrected, and I want to be put in the right path. I want to be taken to where I need to go. This Johnny Walker commercial in the corner. Uh, yeah, it's not gonna come out. Okay. Well, we'll just we'll leave it. Whatever. Um, and we want the corrective mechanism. We want to be put on the right path. But I think we're too anxious to get rid of anything. We get scared too easily away from any kind of structure. Is that, you know, if there's anything that my tradition is missing is any sense of tradition or religion, any set of practices. I mean, that's the whole reason John Mark Comer has kind of had any impact in any place I'm around, is because we don't have any of that really, right? It was like I grew up in a place where fasting was normal, but for most people that's not the case for you know evangelical kind of related stuff. And so when John Mark Comer came in and was saying, maybe you should pray and fast and do all these things, that blew people's mind. They're like, whoa, there's these kind of fundamental structures that I could kind of lean into. But then I see this and I see a certain level of like, these are the things we're missing. We're talking about trying to break all these things down. But actually, like, can you help us build these things up? Might be a better way of phrasing this. Like, we try to make room for you, but you know, because there's a certain sense in which an empty room is the most pure room, right? The sterile room. We have these two kind of sides. When we think about, I'm going to go into a weird tangent. When we think about evil, there's two kind of perspectives, I think, that are on the far ends. This is like the same thing with the horseshoe theory. I think we're all kind of exploring this together. The one end is the total rebellion, total breaking down of structures. There's no kind of division between anything. It's the swamp. It's the muck. It's the chaos. It's the wild waste. It's the ocean, right? It's all kind of crashing together. There's no distinction. There's no room for people to live. On the other ends, we have hyper purity, hyper individualized structure. We have walls between everything. Nothing can survive, and what you're left with is it's the hand washing, is the endlessly washing your hands to make sure that there's no germs. It's the OCD kind of instinct to the point where your hands are bleeding, right? And you're not alive anymore. It's the desert. And so these are the two ends that we're kind of like, in a sense, they're the same, right? If we're going to go further, I think there's this certain sense in which you get this with, you find this everywhere. Maybe I won't get into too much more details because I don't want to alienate anybody more than I already have. But these are two routes that you'll see approaching both at once. And I think this is what we see when we see horseshoe theory, like extremes on both ends kind of coming back together. Yeah, I think that's most of what I had covered. Let me double check I don't have anything else. So I think that's like a lot of the great stuff. Not to toot my own horn. Um, so yeah, that covers most of what I was coming at. I guess I could talk about Midwestuary a little bit. Midwestuary was a good time. I think maybe I need to change it. I feel like I'm too much in this mode. We need to like reset, come back, and and do that. Maybe we can do a little reflection. I know I did a lot with Neil, but we can just kind of talk. Are you eating Mexican food again, Ron? I feel like I mean it's great, but it's just so funny to me. That's the Sunday thing. Okay, Midwestuary. Um, what do I think? I talked a lot to Neil about it. You can check it out on the second channel. If anyone needs a link, let me know. But we had a good conversation and dug a lot into um, kind of some of the LLM controversy, back and forth. Tell us how my wife responded to my stories of Chicago. Sure, I can do that too. Um, we also talked about Gen Z and a couple other things. Um, yeah, after coming home, I recovered after being sick. Got to talk to my wife a bit about it. We got to sit at a Mexican restaurant and talk it over. Um, yeah, we both had lots of stuff happen. So got to share kind of personal interactions and stuff. Was kind of scattered. I think most of it was just her kind of seeing footage. Like that was kind of the way that she first encountered it. So she watched a lot of the footage as I was transferring it onto digital. And yeah, that was I mean we could just do that. We could pull that up. Pull that, not that, not that here. Oh, I'm so fascinated to hear Skankenstein about how normies encountered it. I feel like there's plenty. I think you sounded super optimistic about how that was all gonna go, and I was a little, I don't know. I didn't think that I've not had a great experience of trying to explain these things, and that's just been my personal encounter. Um, yeah, just had a good time talking with her, and she's met a few. She's met at least she's met Paul. She's met Af. Who else has she met? Um, Horace. So she's met a few of them, and so it's been a good time, kind of talking it over and um, telling her about the fun time I had and the things I got frustrated about and stuff. Um, so it was a good time. Ooh, yeah, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have to keep an eye out for your combo with CVAX then. Um, what else? Yeah, I'm trying to think of things I didn't end up digging into with Neil. Anything that I wanted to talk about. You were in Estuary with her. Were you in my group? Or was she in the other group? I can't even remember. But okay. My memory might be failing me right now. Um yeah. So I did that and uh that was a good time. Uh But yeah, it was great talking to you guys, both Ron and Skankenstein, and seeing everybody and meeting a few new people. And weren't you both in the same group? I thought so. Were you in our group? You must have been. That would make sense. I don't think you were in Pulse group during our estuary, so you must have been there. That sounds right. Okay, resolving it in my mind finally. Um, yeah, I think for the most part, just that was the best part, was hanging out with everybody and talking and getting to meet new people, um, and just learning, you know, learning more about people on a personal level. There's a lot of stuff on the internet where you can't really talk about normal stuff. So I get to talk to people about my job and in real life, and something I would never do on the internet. And so just kind of telling them about what I do. And then I can hide again now. And it gave me a lot of kind of motivation to start making stuff and kind of connect with people again. That was good. Hey Chad, how's it going? Ahoy. Um, yeah. And it's amazing, right? The way I talk about it with others is the whole idea that I feel like I could walk up to anybody and just say, what brought you here, or you know, what did you think about the last talk? And yeah, you get to see your nose and stuff. That is a big pro. Um, and that's just not something I feel on a normal basis. And so I've been trying to find out how to kind of incorporate that into my life, is the ability to kind of meet people and uh, learn about them and stuff. It's easy to do that when there's this kind of safe environment. I don't know if that's fair to say, but like it feels safe. It feels like it's a place where I can find a place to belong. I have my group of friends I can talk to, and I kind of reach out and meet people. Um, but at home, it doesn't necessarily feel that way. And so that's been kind of the big learning and stepping stone, is how do we kind of approach that? How do we get closer to doing that here? Luckily, I got to meet I've met her several times, but Nate's wife, and she was saying that she knows people up where I live, and so we might be able to get some advertising for the estuary going. So we might have a few more people showing up and connecting, and I am super excited about that. So I'll have to reach out to her and get that moving. But um, I yeah, I'm looking forward to another year. We're on break right now, and we're kind of coming back together, and so I'm looking forward to it. Um, I have a sinking feeling. Rafe Kelly got back to me, and I don't think um, our timing is going to work again. So we might not be able to see him at Estuary, but um, who knows? If you guys come up, you might see him there. You might be able to catch him. So, um, oh, you got your Seattle group hatching soon. That's fun. Fun. I think there's a good number of people in the Seattle area that are that I've heard. I think we got a good number of them from the time that Paul came up and visited. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, what else? Yeah. Is there anything else? I think for the most part we've covered a lot of the stuff for Midwestuary. Um, Vervaeke was kind of the star of the show, I think, for the conference. I don't know personally, like on a personal level, it didn't seem like he felt safe Um, it seems like he felt like he was on edge, and I heard anecdotal evidence of people who were like from Canada who came up to him, and he was super happy, and his face changed from being kind of the serious like I'm on enemy territory to being like, oh, I have friends here. Um, and so uh, I hope he felt comfortable and felt connected, and maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but he did an amazing job, and I'm so thankful that he was there and was able to provide a non-Christian perspective into a lot of this, to provide this kind of, I don't know, another face to kind of talk with, instead of everybody kind of pointing the same direction. This is me sick. Um, I think I got better there, but yeah. Um, I don't know if I have anything else right now on my docket uh, that I will. So I will pull up. This is the browser. Okay, we can close that. Then we can open this, and then we can do this, and then we can come over here, and we can pull up this. Something is happening. I think it should be. It should be moving. We'll see. Oh no. Oh no. Why? Okay, I have no clue why I did that, but it's on its way. It's on its way. A new leader moved there from LA. LA has a kind of thriving estuary culture from what I've heard, but LA is also what the population of a entire state. It's, it's like a flashbang. There we go. So because of where we left off, it ties into the title. I did this on purpose, kind of. I promise. Because we have a giant to kill. Let's make sure I'm going the right way to kill the giant. There we go. Giant killing is kind of our job right now. Because the Jacobin has more tradition than the Jacobite. And so on and so forth. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh. Oh, gosh. Why? It's a, what's the... I need to memorize my Chesterton better. It's not humble to do that. Humble... It's a... It's a something against humility. Is this the way in? Is this a different... Wait, this feels way faster. What was I doing? Oh, I was taking a different way in. Okay. It's going a much longer way around. I see, I see. Oh my gosh. Running towards him. Running in. One thing that I've learned recently is that I have found, and this might sound extremely stupid, but I found that being on my phone less is good for me. Okay? And it's kind of dumb, but I've been using that new Hank Green app. I don't even know what his involvement is in it. I think he just is a person who had an idea and then he got somebody else to do it. But it involves just setting a timer and then giving you a reward. Oh my gosh. Someday I'll get setting a timer and then you only get the reward when you don't open your phone. And if I continually use that, when I have used it, it has been very good. I don't think you would have to use the app. I think it's just like, it is the certain like reward mechanism thing where it's like, oh, I don't want to miss out on a reward, so I'm going to just not look at my phone because I don't need to, you know. Wait, is there a guy right there? Oh, okay. We might just get some help from the peoples. Please, 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 please. Okay. This works. That was a lot of damage. Sheesh. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That was very close. Oh. Sheesh. Okay. There we go. Broke the leg. We'll run up into him. Hope that fire doesn't mess us up. Ooh. I think we just might have chosen like the perfect amount of health to not immediately die. Ooh, okay. How do we want to do this? We'll go here. I will hop in the Discord, so if anybody does want to join, I'll try to keep an eye on it. Feel free to leave a to jump in. If anyone needs a link, throw it in chat. And I'll be free to talk. Otherwise, I'll just keep playing and doing my best. And we will find out a way to do this better in the future. I mean, ideally, right? I really like the way that StreamYard does it. StreamYard does do a little bit of it's expensive. And it has tried to scam me. Okay. Let me know. Skink and sign, and I can move you into the right one. We'll try. Ooh, yeah, we'll get Alexander in here. We'll do this. Alexander being the pot. Can I not get on a horse though? Interesting. Oh. I can't really see the moves. Oh, we double broke it? Okay. This might be easier on foot, actually. Oh. Okay. Wait. They survive? I thought I died. Okay. So he ripped off his foot. Oh. 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 I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry we've been... See, I think I died as soon... Okay. That's fair. Here, I will join a channel that anyone else can join. That way it makes it easier. Nope. Yes, I want to change. Yeah. Confirm. There we go. That way I can just be flexible. Do it that way. We're making progress though. Turns out you just gotta kill the foot. What is up? Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. Let me see if I can make sure you're loud enough for everybody else. That way I'm not...
You're kind of like warbly and tinny.
I'm warbly and tinny. Might be using the wrong mic. Yeah. There we go. That should be much better.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. That is better. Hey, like, it's gonna keep going to that rate. I don't think I can talk to you like private.
Nope. Okay. Nice.
There we go. This is great. Great.
Okay. Sweet.
Well, so you don't use? Do you not use StreamYard?
Do I not use screen grab?
No, StreamYard. What do you use to stream?
I use OBS.
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, open broadcast software.
Okay.
Is what most people like who do streaming use, like just video games and stuff.
Okay, gotcha. Like, so like a base level for like streaming, not on Twitch. You stream on Twitch?
I have been. I haven't. I'm not right now. Just because they have weird rules about, you know, what you can stream in a specific category, and then I have to like change the category I'm in, and
okay,
it's just a lot of stuff I don't really want to have to deal with. And then there's a lot of people scamming in chat. That's the only interactions I really get. So,
are you gonna jump on the Silk Song train when it comes out next week?
I will buy it. I don't know if I'll be able to play it immediately or if I'm going to stream it, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Ditto. I think it would be funny to have everybody playing their own Silk Song while after streaming.
Wait, everybody playing their own slow song while what?
I mean, I assume Afriel's going to be streaming that soon.
He said he's gonna wait.
Oh, we see.
Yeah, he said that
supposed to be, like,
he had other stuff he wanted to stream first.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I
felt the same way. I was like, this is your perfect opportunity. You've been streaming so much Hollow Knight. You're building up to it.
So how are you dealing with the come back to reality now that we're a week away from Midwest Weird?
See, I said this before, but part of me is like being sick kept me from getting too under the influence of of everything. Oh, what? Why am I not doing damage? I think the hands are where it's at. Okay. So yeah, for the most part, I was able to kind of get back and just recover, and it worked out pretty well.
Lucky. Sleep schedule still hasn't reached that yet.
Oh, was it really messed up for you? I guess it was because everybody stayed up late to talk and stuff, but...
It wasn't messed up, it's just like energy levels. It's just been
okay.
all over the place for me. And then feeling a lot of pain. The one night where I thought I was gonna like actually like get like a solid 9-10 hours of sleep before work, and I'm in the grocery store buying toilet paper, and my brother I haven't talked to in like 6 months calls me about it in the blue, very drunk. Gets me my beer and you for a while, which was awesome. It was great. He got the 2 days back from Chicago Midwestern film,
Mm.
but did not help me get to bed on time.
Yeah. I think the 10 hours of sleep that one night where I didn't go out
Hmm.
helped a lot. But I
Yeah.
was exhausted on the I took the plane and then the bus ride home, and my
Mhm.
I don't know, I was in a state where I was like I felt too tired to sleep, that kind of feeling.
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
And so, and my nose was just like draining, and I felt like horrible for everybody around me. But I'm like, I don't have anything to, wipe my nose, so I'm like wiping it on my sweatshirt, and it's just kind
Oh.
of gross. And I'm so glad to be
You
home.
didn't want to buy the $30 Kleenex from the airport store?
Well, I was on the bus at that point, and that's
Oh,
when it was
okay.
starting to get really bad. Um, I was just ready to be home.
Yeah. That last night, Saturday, we're just like, well, we don't have anything to do. Or there's nothing to be awake for super early on Sunday. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, we went to bed at 4 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah.
northwestuary levels of like the camping. The camping. That's like how late we were staying up then. It was
Which we feel bad for Afriel. I don't. Did anybody sing? Were there any campfires anywhere?
there was I don't know if there were campfires, but there were people camping out um someplace, but I don't think it was very populated. I don't think there were that many people doing it. We can get our campfire songs.
True. I don't know if you were doing your Sunday stuff, but Burn Powell was midway through a great conversation he was having with uh, a Midwestuary somebody. It might have been she's a Lutheran lady. It might be the lady who asked about like fascists in the Lutheran church on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But they were in the middle of like a great conversation. He was talking about I like in the process of compiling the list of like 100 songs every American should know, and I'm very excited to see this list.
Oh, okay.
I think that's another thing to I don't know like think about. Start compiling the estuary campfire songs.
Yeah. Ath and I have been trying to start something at some point. Like we've had a playlist that we've been kind of messing around with, and it's hard not to just like fill it up with whatever I want to fill it up with, you know.
Yeah, you got to be discriminating.
Because if it was up to me, there'd be so much Me Without You and
I was just about to say they can only handle so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also just like the content too. There's a certain level where I'm like, oh, I like this song. I don't think it would fit in with the context of TLC. Sorry to interrupt. What were you saying? Did we lose you? Oh, I think we lost him. We made it pretty far there. We need to find out how to actually do some damage once he's down. Maybe it's just kind of chipping away at the extra leg, but I think it's just the arms. Can't really focus on the arms though. That's the weird part, but nice. Okay, nice. Nice. We're gonna refresh and go. Fire is not a good thing to be around. Oh. He's just so hard to see. What else is coming up? I have a conversation with Ryan that I'm gonna post pretty soon about Rashomon. We watched it and had a good time and had plenty of thoughts. I think there is plenty of kind of post World War II meaning making going on in that film that I think is going to be really fun to kind of explore and hear people's thoughts on. We kind of dig it a little bit into that, and that was a great conversation. And we have a couple unscripted commentaries coming up that I recorded today, and I'll put together. I'll have to find some gameplay to work on to put together. But the rolling is keeping us alive. Oh. Okay. It's keeping him alive too. Yep, just need to do enough damage to... Nice. The fire is always the scary bit. Ooh, ooh. I do not like that. Is Alexander surviving? Still alive. We'll take it. We'll take it. Okay, we don't have to go through that again. Oh gosh. Okay, I did not realize it would be that intense. Do we have a fire resistance that we could just throw on? Charge attack, stamina recovery is not bad. Rodents isn't the worst. Let's hope. Let's hope this is good. Downside will be there's a chance that we are going to just be absolutely crushed, destroyed. So we just hope that's not the case. And then we'll make our rolls and we'll win. It's nice and easy. I felt like I definitely rolled too early, but... Oh. Come on, Alexander. Nice. Okay. About a third down. He's gonna roll away. Oh, okay. Nice. We'll take it. We'll take it. Okay. I'll keep this up so I can see if anybody else wants to hop in the Discord. Otherwise, I will keep it there. That's perfect. We won't have to watch him take his leg off again. We'll do this. Do have to find out how not to kind of get consumed by all this fire and maybe hitting his head would be a bad start to things. Oh, his hands are definitely a suggested weak point. Oh gosh. We get some Alexanders in chat. Oh gosh. Okay. Not sure how useful the mimic tier is here, but we'll just keep going with it. Okay. Oh. Oh. This is in a lot of ways my, like, it's me trying to prove something in a certain sense. I, mentioned it last time. This is where I kind of got stuck. I stopped here. I kind of ran up against this boss. Didn't feel like I was making enough progress against his health bar, reasonably. Felt like there might be something wrong with, like, my build or something. Didn't want to have to deal with it. Decided to move on to another game and never came back to playing. And, so I'm looking forward to finally kind of finishing this. There's a way to say, you know, I can actually do it and not have to quit. My personal difficulty with distraction like that. Come on, stupid fire. There we go. We'll take it. Did you ever wonder what his anatomy is? If he has an eye in the middle, and like a face in the middle of his body? The kind of Cyclops deal? Does he have two faces, basically? Two heads?
Still brewing?
Oh, I hear you.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hey, how's it going?
Did your connection fall out on the Seattle?
No,
trip?
no, my mother called me.
Oh.
I think I should probably talk to her rather than you.
Yeah, no, you should. We're just getting crushed by a giant fire giant.
Was to upscale it for me was challenging her work recently. It was gratifying to hear.
Wait, sorry, what was that? You're cutting out in there.
And my mother appears to have like killed a giant in her work recently, and that was tremendously gratifying to hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. the public school math teacher, and it's just sort of a late life career change, and it's takes a while to get kind of like acclimated to
Yeah.
to how to like fit into the lifestyle. And she's about a month in where she's at, and it's just she's locked in.
Yeah, a late in life change into public school teaching.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, I know a lot of public school teachers or just teachers in general, and does not sound like a fun time.
I just couldn't believe, like, in Chicago, I was only a middle school teacher for 3 years, but how often I talked about it and continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
I did it for 3 years. I'm about 3 years removed from it now, and it was just such a crucible.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, I know a guy who, he was a public, music teacher, public school music teacher. Got, like, awards from, like, his local, like, district and everything as, like, the best teacher of the year. But ended up leaving because he was just so done with it, and started like a business and everything. And he's doing a lot of crazy stuff now, but
Like kind of this guy's gym.
yeah. But it's the tough part. It's like, how do you retain those talented people? And you know, it's tough for schools.
Yeah, I don't know how much you like. It's just such an interesting. It's such a the work arrangement is so weird. I mean, I was kind of like constantly searching for like let's look at an archetype, a mental model for kind of what I am now. When I look at how my time is organized, the best kind of thing I can go with, like basically a monk.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like how all consuming that work is on your life for 10 months out of the year, and it's just like the only way to really get good is to acquiesce to the fact that like you have joined a holy order and you just have to submit.
Yeah.
I did not find that very easy to do.
No. I saw somebody tweeting the other day, and they were like, why don't people want to work or something like that? And they showed this conversation they had, and basically the person responded and said, you know, in our call, the impression you gave about the work-life balance did not seem good to me. And they were like, people don't want to commit their entire lives to our corporation. What's wrong with them? They said the two most important things are which god do you serve and what do you do for work. And in my mind, I refrained from saying it, but I was thinking, like, it sounded like you were telling him to worship your company as the god, but maybe that's a...
I guess sometimes the answer to that question is those two questions the same.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the I guess the New York Times columnist David Brooks?
I've heard his name a lot, but I have not read any of his stuff or listened to conversations with him.
It's I think he was kind of the New York City guy. I think he was in like Tim Keller's orbit.
Okay.
They like conversed a number of times. I think he might have had a sort of late life. I know he was one of our early like secular guys that caught religion.
Oh, okay.
We're seeing a lot these days, but I don't think I've read any of his stuff. But I think I think it's best to view him as kind of an author similar to like what Elizabeth Oldfield is doing, kind of writing on her sort of like popular level about thoughtful topics. She's got like a book in like social psychology and stuff like that. But one of his recent books, a boomer pastor friend of mine was telling me about, is called like The Two Mountains. There's like there is in effectively the boomer advice is there are two mountains you got to climb in your life. The first half of your life should be dedicated to climbing the first mountain, and that is getting good, like getting successful, like creating like just getting enough financial security that you have a place to live. And then once you have that achieved, then it's time to start attacking the second mountain. Like, what is your life's purpose? What is your legacy? What is your inheritance?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that he started noticing is that starting with non people, the millennials are like, we want to climb the second mountain first. And you feel like the first mountain is getting in your way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So it's the
Now,
yeah, like the digging into stuff and kind of getting good is, yeah, I can see that happens a lot where people they they want the meaning first. They don't want to do the hard work. Is that what kind of you're thinking about?
well, it's
And
more.
was pointed to?
I think it's more. Yeah, that's some of it. And to be fair, like plenty of my peers are very poor right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, myself included. But I think the problem started as noticing that there was not enough of a connection between Mountain 1 and Mountain 2.
Yes.
Again, the idea that like getting good, joining the capitalist corporate system is going to actively degrade your soul.
Yeah. Well, there's no sense of like longevity, right? Like for a lot of these corporations and stuff, there's a certain sense in which we're gonna get what we can out of you because we can't seem to keep people. So,
Yeah.
like, let's do our best to get what we can, and then you can kind of go on your adventure later. At least that's what I've seen for a lot of places.
You picked up the Peugeot fairy tales at all?
Any of his fairy tales? I haven't looked at them yet.
Okay.
I've heard him talk about it and talk about little moments that he's written about, but I haven't picked up the books.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking specifically of like heard him talking about the second one, the Jack the Giant Killer, and the idea of his 3 trips up the beanstalk, like how he grabs like 3 different things. I think I was talking with Jordan Peterson about it, and the big thing they sort of like the archetypal story is like when you're a young man and you start to kind of make your way in the world. The Giants is corporate America. It's one particular embodiment. It is this exploitative, massive monster that does not want what is best for you, that is trying to take advantage of you. And if that is your enemy, even though you're the good guy, the protagonist, you have to figure out how to be a thief. You have to figure out how to steal your life from the vampire that's trying to eat you.
Yeah. I think there is like a certain sense in which, like the difficulty is, you know, we've all. I won't speak for everybody, but I've gotten the impression that I've been told that, like, in a sense, that is the good guy, right? Is these big corporations are the ones who, you know, you'll get a good job out of there and you'll kind of do your thing, and maybe that hasn't been communicated as entirely effectively. Maybe I'm a little wrong on that. I'm still thinking through it.
No, I think you were right that it's changed in the sense of the good that they provided that was worth kind of sacrificing a lot for them is that they provided these like there was a certain noblesse oblige where they provided stability and they provided longevity. They had a certain like there was at least an implicit obligation towards their employees that they respected.
Well, the image of that is always like the pension and the gold watch, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, I like one of the so my parents went to engineering school, and sort of the common wisdom they were graduating in the early '80s is that if you get hired up in like IBM, like you're locked in. You got the gold. They're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Like and I still have like childhood memories of like awesome company picnics, like like a weekly like company volleyball game with a great playground near the volleyball court for kids like me to play on and stuff like that. It was great. It was great. But I think that plant got bought out by another company like 2 or 3 times. So my dad went to the same office and worked for 3 different corporations with less and less kind of like loyalty and obligation to him.
Yeah.
That bill of goods he was sold, like the culture changed so much that it made his life and my life as a consequence worse for it.
Yeah.
And I mean that sort of thing is that's like a frequent joke in like The Office, the sitcom. Like all of the different like corporate culture things they do, the party planning committee and stuff like that, the ridiculous parties. Like, can you believe we do this? It's sort of like Jim going through the camera. Like, do these guys care about like common culture and purpose and stuff like that? Don't they realize we're just here to make a buck?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like Michael is almost I mean, he changes characters, right? But like for the most part, he is he's the guy who still believes it, and he's kind of the fool for believing it. But when it works, it works, right? And that's kind of the other side of it. Like he actually is able to develop a community.
Yeah, he was also the beneficiary. I mean, there's some points where it's like, yeah, no, he started off in like the middle, with like a really bad haircut and a fanny pack, and like it was, yeah, he was able to ascend because the company had a certain sense of loyalty that didn't fully take into regard his company, which was partly unfortunate and partly like a beautiful one.
Well, and he's the guy who was able to work his way up, right? Like that's the other huge thing, is that he's the guy who was a salesman, worked his way up into being a manager, but you know, he would have been better off as a salesman still. So there is this built-in critique as well of this system benefits people who work well, but maybe not in the way that is beneficial to everybody involved, including the person that there. It's the whole I forget what the name of that whole thing is, but that people only get promotions for as far as they are competent, and then once they're bad at their job, they don't get promotions anymore.
I think that is the Peter principle. You rise to the level of your.
Oh, you still there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I saw your icon turning green, but I didn't hear your voice, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm driving, so it might be sort of like you can get noise from the headphone next to the window now and again.
I'm on like the boss's 1 HP mode right now. Oh no, and I am almost dead.
Get it. Get
oh
it.
No, no.
Get
oh no. The giant has a face in the middle of its chest, and then it started just throwing fire unexpectedly, and then my character got staggered, and then it proceeded to just keep flaming the ground. But hey.
How many go rounds has it been with this Big Bertha here?
At least 10.
Okay.
I've never beaten this boss before, though. This is where I gave up the first time I played this game. Mostly because I had to... There's like a specific... Like, there's 1 or 2 areas on this boss that you can hit that actually do damage, like, reasonably. And I was not patient enough in the moment to deal with that, so I decided, you know, I'm gonna play a different game and come back to it, and I just never did.
Gotcha. Did you just start over for when you were doing the stream? Or you kind of like I
Yeah.
haven't quite followed like the through line for like why for why you choose which game from week to week to week. Do you like
Um,
pick things thematically?
Wait, pick things thematically?
Yeah, as far as like what you choose to play while you're streaming,
I've been trying to stick
or
consistently
if
to
this
like
is
one thing or another. So I chose I was playing Kenshi for a little bit, and then I switched over to Elden Ring. I've just been trying to stick to it to finally beat it at least once all the way through, and then maybe I'll switch to something else. Part of this also has just been me trying to figure out what is a good stream game,
yeah.
and it's
I
a
remember like for a month it was like all Death Stranding.
oh yeah. Well, I was making my way through the entire thing.
Okay.
So once I made it through, I tried playing a little bit more, and then it just felt a little weird not to like continue the story, and to just be like doing missions and stuff. For stream at least. So
Yeah. You're not on the Flying Monkey Discord server, are you? The latest.
I am.
Oh. Okay. Have you run into like? Do you play around in voice chat at all? Have you run into Andrew?
Name sounds familiar.
Should try
Maybe
and
not too much.
see if I can drag him on. Yeah, I think he's a game developer. Um, and
Oh.
anyway, he was ranting and raving about Death Stranding 2 recently. Um,
I know there's the guy, I don't know if it's Andrew, but there was somebody who, there's like a game that's somewhat infamous online. And it's like, it's Y2K, but it's YIIK. And
Yikes!
have you heard of this game?
No, I have not.
It's like and it's like called like a postmodern RPG. A sequel for it's coming out. I think they made a spin-off, and then there's the original, and it's like two guys who made it. At least on the gaming Bridges of Meaning gaming Discord. I think one of the devs for it is on there.
Okay.
But that game has a lot of people who don't like it online, and it struck me as very interesting. But
What's the is there a general consensus for why they don't like it?
a lot of it's writing, but I think it's because
Okay.
people don't understand what like it means to be postmodern. That was my impression from one of the
Yeah.
reviews I saw, where they're like, "This main character is a horrible person," and I'm like, "Yeah."
I wish this author would die.
But I think there's a lot of people who read it somewhat as like a self-insert.
Okay.
But I think they fail to understand that like it's a critique that comes with like, it's like one of those things where like the horrible person is like considered the hero in the ends, but I think it's also a critique of that. I don't know, I have to go back through it and see some of the stuff. I haven't given time to playing it because indie RPGs can be hard to, turn-based RPGs can be hard to get through sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the issue. Right.
I've been working on
patient for that,
a
man.
different one.
Yeah, and I think Knights of the Old Republic is sort of like my baseline. Like that's about as far into RPG as I'm really willing to.
I mean, that's pretty far. Like that's Obsidian. Or I guess it's BioWare. I think BioWare is the first one actually.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know. I have kind of low standards at this point for RPGs, considering how maligned, not maligned, but how like weakened that word has gotten over time.
Okay. Uh,
If you're more
Fable
of an
counts. You remember
RPG,
Fable on the Xbox?
Fable. I mean, Fable,
Fable.
yeah. If it's into it, it's not as far as I would like it to be, right? But
Uh-huh.
it would, it would fall into it. If Skyrim
Yeah.
can be called an RPG, pretty much anything can be.
Okay.
But
Cool.
I have the unkind opinions about Skyrim.
Oh, like, spill the tea, man. Let's hear it. I love
Oh,
this.
I think it, I think it's just, if you play Morrowind, right? Like it's removed every ounce of like old RPG flavor, and it's kind of a husk of itself now.
Okay.
It's kind of sanded off all the edges, and that's kind of what Bethesda has been doing over the last few years. It's just sanding every single edge off of an RPG. And so you end up with like there's not choices throughout your game. Like the only choice in Skyrim is red or blue for the two teams for the Civil War. And then the DLC has a choice. But even like the side quest lines, right? The choice is do you do the side quests or not, for the most part. Do I choose to join the Thieves Guild or not? Which isn't really a choice, right? There's no extra content or anything. It's just you know, I decide not to
I would love
follow
to
the quest line.
see like a virtue ethics mechanic where the further down a path you go, you can still make a choice like left or like right hand, left hand, like good or evil at any point in time. But based on the trajectory you carve for your character, like it would be, say if you like decide at the very last second you want to be a good guy after becoming like Satan incarnate over the course of the entire game. You're setting yourself up for like the most difficult boss fight you've ever had in your life.
Mm.
Because you have become like all of your choices, and it's just you're in dramatic tension with your own self. All of your training has been to go down like the wrong path rather than the evil path versus good.
There have been a lot of really interesting systems that I've really enjoyed. One, I don't know if you've ever played Prey. I think it was 2016.
I just bought it recently. It was on my radar. Some like video game YouTubing I watched a while back. So I think I have it.
It's in that like BioShock adjacent kind of realm. And one of the mechanics is that like all the upgrade materials are real materials in the world that like you can craft and find. And so it's also like a System Shock in that way. But if you follow,
which is BioShock Grandfather, right?
Yes, it's kind of like the original. What's that sound? What do you mean? What's that sound? Is that a skanky sound? I don't know.
Hearing my car shifting.
Is there another sound? Maybe I need to keep a track on it. I don't hear anything from you, so.
Okay.
Grim, if you can provide any more detail, I can do my investigation. But yeah, System Shock is kind of the grandfather game.
Mm-hmm.
And but there's certain trees, right? It's like the alien skills or power tree. And if you go down, whose voice isn't yours? That's Skankenstein.
Hey.
Oh, we'll leave the cutscene on for Grim to see the giant tear off his leg and sacrifice it to the gods.
Oh, is a giant and a cultist?
I don't know. He's lifting up the flaming leg to the gods, presumably, and a big eye opens in the center of his chest.
Mm,
It's got some swirling stuff going on. It is a skanky sound. Um,
okay.
but if you follow down the alien kind of upgrade tree, um, you become less and less human, and so the ship's defenses actually start to target you as a foreign entity.
Oh, that's good.
And so
That's
you
good.
get much stronger in some ways, but there's also these like limitations that are kind of built into it.
I like this a lot.
And so there's stuff like that where I'm like, I don't know. It's I wish more games kind of went down that route. Man, he does just one shot. That's so annoying. Anyway, um,
Have you played Soma?
Soma, I have not. I've seen some gameplay.
Okay.
I've
The
watched my
Flying
friend
Monkeys
stream part
convinced
of
me
it.
to buy it. Almost I would too.
There's I've seen some of the twists, and I really like the twists. It's some fun writing. It's almost like I almost wish it was a book instead of a game. But
Oh. How often do you say that?
just because I think there's sometimes where sometimes people feel like a thing has to be a game. Remember the good old days when you played Power Wash Guy? The good old calm days of playing Power Wash Simulator. But yeah, there's just sometimes a story is getting better told, and it's good. It's just that I don't know if a survival horror game is the best route. Maybe it is, but it
Do you
just
think
feels a
it's
little
like
walking simulator-ish.
okay, okay. So it's not the writer is not necessarily locked into the mechanics.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like everything is kind of tied together, at least from the outside. Having watched it be played,
Well, I'll play and report back.
but from my understanding, it is definitely worth the time. So
Oh no, it's highly recommended by folks I respect. So it's definitely good to get played.
Another game that comes to mind is Tyranny, which is probably too RPG on the scale for what you're interested in. But it's
Gotta be a little more kinetic, maybe.
it has a morality system built in, kind of, with every faction, and
Okay.
there's like a fear and love gauge, and as you go down one or the other, you get like perks, like your character becomes stronger in different ways.
Okay. Have you played the Arkham Horror like board game?
The Arkham what game?
It's a board game. It's kind of like a big elaborate tabletop that's like Cthulhu mythos based, and you're got a number of different characters, and the one thing you have to worry about is the sanity scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the players you can play as is effectively like too dumb to go crazy.
That's good.
It's a great mechanic.
I played a bit of like Call of
do you think-
Cthulhu, and there's that kind of aspect of like you can pass your checks to be able to investigate something, and then if you investigate like the wrong thing, you can just lose sanity. And that's always an interesting idea to me, that you could be punished for being too good at something.
Somehow Lovecraft popped onto my Twitter timeline recently, and I made the comment that like an interesting story idea would be what would happen if H.P. Lovecraft started watching Jordan Peterson on YouTube.
Interesting. Okay.
Right?
We were having a lot of conversations about Lovecraft in our estuary group at Midwest.
Oh, interesting. Did you get all the sessions?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you're a good boy. Good for
Yep.
you.
Well, I had Grim and I had David Boozadill, and then some other
that's
guys
a
who were
stacked
really
group.
really fun. So I was like, oh yeah, like I'm having fun here. I'll stick around. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was put in a Grail Countries group, and I'm like, you're my estuary leader all of the time.
Oh.
And I tried to figure out how to leave without like being rude. And then Nick came up to me like the first day, and he's like, go find somewhere else, man. We see each other all the time. It's fine. And I walked in, so skipped the first session. Found the second one was pretty good, but it was too big. There was like 15 people there.
Ooh.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, but I mean that's a lot of what we're planning to talk and stream about tonight is like how the estuary scene went down from our various perspectives. I
Yeah.
feel like it was a very mixed bag from what I was hearing.
Yeah, I think some people had a really good time and some people did not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, CC, you have no idea. Earlier, he was at 1 HP, I swear. It was a tough day. But yeah, in our group, we I made the connection between I think it was me who made the connection between the Eucharist and H.P. Lovecraft. Bringing it back to Robert Chambers' The King in Yellow.
Ooh, ooh.
Because he was a
Did
Catholic.
Okay. The one book I picked up from Bookseller is this collection by this guy Arthur Machen, who is famous for this story, The Great God Pan, which is basically like a Frankenstein sort of story where a guy like gave a guy a lobotomy that opened up his third eye and kept having like visions and experiences of Pan that drove him insane.
Oh, okay.
But apparently he was also like a Catholic and had a lot of like really, really interesting, thoughtful sacramental fixtures that he's done. So I'm excited to dip into that one.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit less restless.
Oh, Grim is asking about you mentioned a stream tonight. Are you streaming with Seabax tonight?
We're not streaming. We're not streaming. We're recording.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there.
I asked to go live, and he doesn't trust me. So I think the plan is we'll figure it out once we actually talk. But the plan is to record, and then maybe premiere plus follow-up stream.
Wait, a follow-up stream with Seabax?
Yeah, he wanted us like not to be focused on the conversation. So he's like, I don't want you guys having to deal with a live chat. Don't want it. I'm like, okay, that's fair. It's your stream. So,
Okay.
and like his premieres have a pretty good hive mind usually.
Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed the Hive Mind craze.
Yeah. So yeah, recording with him tonight. Planning a stream with Nick Freerillian about 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
And want to kind of lay out the things I've been doing the last couple of years to attack the domicide in my family.
Sounds like you have
I
a
feel
lot
like
of
he's the right
fun stuff.
It's highly motivated right now, man.
Oh yeah,
It's,
I feel it.
The energy is popping. You gotta ride that wave. It's gonna dissipate eventually. So have fun now. but yeah, no, I'm on with Seabax and I think 3 other guys as well. So it's a large.
Okay. Just a
Yeah,
bunch of
like
people from the
Brilliant's gonna be
industry. Is
in.
that the idea, or?
Yeah, yeah, it's a reaction, and I don't think we brought you into um, sort of a way of kind of like making public some of our critical conversations about what the next iteration of these kind of conferences should be.
Okay.
At least that's the angle I want to take. It's like, okay, this was really really great. Um, in a lot of ways, some ways it wasn't so great. How do we construct these things in a way that maximizes the greatness and diminishes the less great parts?
Yeah.
So I'm excited. It's a good crew, and the group chat I'm involved in has been very very thoughtful and creative. So I think we're entering a big uh, time for a lot of experiments right now. I think.
I'm definitely looking forward to
Um,
seeing how Southeastuary goes and seeing how that style of events works.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna try and grift my way there on the back of this team, and hopefully implement some of the things we talked about as a committed participant in a way that I wasn't in Chicago. But see how that goes. It's expensive.
Oh, that was a close one too. I'm kind of sad that I won't be able to go because I think it'd be fun to be able to be around North Carolina and be there again. But
Did you do time in North Carolina?
um, I mean, super early on in my life. This is where I was born, but a lot of my family is in that area. Not that side of North Carolina though.
Oh,
But
yeah. You say I grew up taking our beach vacations on the North Carolina coast,
oh,
but I've
okay.
never been inland.
Did you go? Where did you go in North Carolina? Was it just Outer Banks or?
Outer Banks, yeah, we had a timeshare in Duck.
Oh, okay. My family
Yeah,
spent a
and
lot of time
then
in Emerald Isle. I think I had a grandfather, great grandfather who was a pastor down there.
mm, mm, yeah, I'm gonna try. I might pop over there. I'm gonna see if I can connect with Ross Bird. He's
Ross.
the surf. He's the surf camp pastor PBK interviewed like 6 months ago.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
That's, yeah. Last time I was on Seabax's channel, me, Ethan, him, and Lee Thompson were kind of chopping it up over kind of his manifesto. I'd really love to see what his life looks like on the ground.
Yeah.
But I think at the very least, I can convince him to buy me beers if I promise to give him Chicago stories. So.
Almost sound like Martin Shaw with that.
Yeah, yeah. Which one of my other schemes is that the conference the event in January I tried to get you out to. So like the fire and storytelling in like deep Pacific Northwest January.
Mm-hmm.
The fire and story events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting to kind of invade and try and colonize.
Yeah.
I know. This is not the last you'll hear from me. Buy a big puffy coat, man. We're going.
Sounds good. Oh,
It's not like we do anything else in January.
well, except for the normal programming.
Yeah,
Between
that's fair.
small group and estuary, and it seems like I might have two groups that want to play TTRPGs now.
Uh, Time to scale up, man. Climb that status hierarchy. Get some underlings.
Delegate.
Mm. Too corporate. Gotta be a better word. Apprentices. Apprentices.
Apprentices, yes. I will train you in running estuaries if you do it all for me.
I mean, that's kind of how it's done.
Sure.
Get to the point where you're just in the corner watching
And I just kind of nod
until
or shake my head.
until you don't need to be in the corner anymore.
Of course, my difficulty with running estuaries is that I have a hard time telling people to shut up when they should.
Hmm. What's the size you're working with right now?
Oh, only like usually we're sitting around 5 on average.
Okay, that's
Not
in
not more
seminary.
than 5 normally, but
One. Yeah, in seminary, I took this one course. It's called like Creative Bible Teaching by the guy who he's effectively like in charge of the Awana program curriculum planning. He's like the top dog. We brought him in.
oh, okay.
One of the, I mean, is like the greatest teacher I have ever seen in my entire life. He's phenomenal. It's just this guy who he went all in on like the sort of thing that you get when you see someone who is like his like intellectual kind of like academic study is like education itself as a discipline.
Mhm.
And I know there's like 1,000 nuggets. I have to track down my notes, but one of the things that really kind of locked in for me is talking about small groups. And he says like the optimum size for like a small group is 6 to 8. It's just big enough that it can't be domineered by one person, and is just small enough that all the introverts have to talk to.
Yeah. I've
And like
I've
5
seen
might
that
be
too.
the
Like those any like online conversations in a group. There's like a point where I feel comfortable enough to be able to talk, and then there's a point where there's too many people, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get a word in unless I like actively try interrupting people.
yeah. I think we need to implement like Occupy Wall Street hand signals. I'm not entirely joking. It's a sort of like there's a
Yeah.
way for them to, while somebody is talking, kind of affirm, direct, give feedback without interrupting. Now that was like a hyper horizontal anarchist program, and so it's just the discussions just never went anywhere. But with an authoritarian enough leader, you can integrate a lot of people into like a common conversation,
Hmm.
or not authoritarian, but somebody with enough authority that you trust to guide the conversation.
I will say though that there is a good side to it, to not being able to tell people to shut up, which is, you know, for the most part, people will learn eventually.
Hmm.
They'll be like, oh, I've been talking this entire time, and other people have interesting things to say, and they won't say anything unless I don't speak. So if you have enough time, it works out. But
Yeah, yeah, that's a fine kind of line to walk.
yeah,
This is where we need to bring kind of like guys like PBK and their foxy pastor tricks of like how do you shut up the compulsive oversharers or redirect them.
so how many people do you guys have at the Olympia estuary normally? Because I feel like there's a lot of people who do that. Like
I think probably on a good day, and we've got more good days than bad days. It's hitting around 10 to 15. So
Do you guys split up at
I,
that
I,
point,
I can,
or
yeah. I can remember one time where we split into like three groups. But I think when we get above 10 is where we try and do two.
okay?
Yeah, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting because I feel like it's one of the longest running estuaries aside from like Chicago group, and so you have kind of like the core leadership, which is committed to always showing up, and so you've got a certain sort of like established way of doing things.
Hmm.
And like when me and Afriel kind of showed up at the same time, it's sort of slow process of kind of like integrating us into the group.
Yeah.
But that's just again one of the other things to remember is like it's great in principle, but sometimes it takes a little while for you to really kind of like get into the swing of things and become a part of the group. I mean, I'm the kind of guy in small groups where it takes me a long time to really like be a comfortable vocal participant.
Hmm.
Uh,
It's not a, yeah. It can be tough to get the vibe of whatever the room is, the spirit,
yeah.
or whatever
Hmm.
word you want to use. And the tough part is trying to, you know, if people aren't quite on the same page, trying to get them on the same page to for that.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, I think like the biggest challenge that I was worried about, I think has kind of resolved pretty well. Like I have a guy
What's
in
that?
my group who's pretty conservative, like
Mhm.
Baptist kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
Not a big fan of Catholicism, very not affirming. But we've had an
Hmm.
Episcopal guy and a Catholic guy come in, and we've had great conversations, and it hasn't devolved into all that kind of stuff.
I
So I'm
mean,
happy.
it's cool that a guy like that is coming along.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I feel like part of what history is helping us escape those people.
Well, that's my hope. Right? That was kind of the McMo question. Like we always talk about the fundamentalists, but why are we? We're also the group that want to talk about integrating the entirety of the body together.
Yeah.
Also, hi Marcus, welcome.
Mark, what's up, man? I can't see what you're saying because I'm just on voice chat. But
He's peace
hello,
signing
hello.
or two. I've never seen anybody use the
Double
peace
peace
sign
victory.
emote as a two. I feel like that would be a interesting use. Maybe I should have left the cutscene playing for Marcus so he could see the freakish eyes generating on this guy's chest.
I'm gonna have to cycle back and see these gnarly vids.
I swear the second phase
Wait,
is
sorry.
really not not ideal.
I'm gonna talk for a minute.
it. Okay. Yeah, Grim, I missed it. It was too fast. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Oh, wait. Okay. Can you just fall over again? Oh, yeah, I'm not hanging around here. Oh! Alexander did it, guys. He did it. It took us an hour and a half. We did it. Remembrance of the Giant. Okay. Let's make sure. Who hopped in? Okay, nice. Should we email? That feels very official. That felt really cool. Oh, nice. You can actually, stop. Probably should have used this earlier, but... Second. Okay.
So you just locked in here until you beat this boss?
I just beat him.
Oh, awesome. What's the treasure the dragon was hiding?
I think we're still finding out.
Ooh.
We're gonna use... We need 9,000. We're gonna use a 5,000. And... maybe 4,000 now. And we'll use two 2,000s. There we go. Just getting all the levels in before we head up to see what the next area is. Okay, nice.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna be dug out of here pretty soon.
Okay. It's like a big bowl. The Forge of Giants.
Is that an object or a
Um, it's a it looks like it's just like a big bowl, and there's like a fire
Giants
in
and
the
their
middle,
overinflated language.
and it's kind of has a like a severed. It looks like it got like an axe put through the side. It's like cracking or climbing a chain to get up. I was trying to get over to the other side of the bowl, and there was a gap. And I did not jump right, and I fell. And I didn't think it was like that far of a fall, but apparently it was too much for my horse, and he died. But I
Oh,
used my runes well, so. Grim Grizz is asking, was the David v Goliath part good?
yes, the David B. You were cooking, brother. That was phenomenal stuff.
Skank says it was good, so if you like Skankenstein, then you might like it.
Yeah, for somebody that doesn't read books, you're really locked in, man. Really thoughtful.
Let me let my dog out real fast. I'll be right back. Here you go.
As somebody who read a lot of books on David v. Goliath and how to manage like power, and what Christians are supposed to do with power and stuff like that, he in his like 10-20 minute like riff on these concepts was very picked up a lot of
I have
highlights that
long
took me 10
observed
years
the
of reading
lands
to glean.
between.
So
This world is in
worth your
dire
time.
need of repair and death. Indiscriminate. Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
Oh, I'm being. Who are you again? That's what Grim Chris said.
Skankenstein?
You're all still mysterious to me, Cece says. Millennia asked if
We,
I
we,
am
we
ready
all
to,
have the theory that you were there at Chicago, CC, and just refused to out yourself, which I love.
and refuse to speak because I think we would all be able to know your voice if we heard it. So it's just this silent
There was
person
definitely
hanging around.
there's definitely a voice chat character who I heard him speak, and I'm like, that is not the body I assume that voice had.
Millennia asked if I am ready to commit a cardinal sin.
I mean, we're all totally depraved, so we're always ready to do
Yeah,
those.
I'm ready.
Very well. Let my hand
Um,
rest upon you.
what's
but a
what's
moment.
the job? What's the angle?
She's putting her hand on me. I don't know what this is. She said, "Let my hand rest upon you for a moment," and she's reaching out her hand. And now we're.
Is your dog your confessor? Are you extending the priest of all believers to the puppers?
She has a lot of scars around her hand. I didn't realize.
Is she a canine incarnate? Does your dog have stigmata?
Does my dog have stigmata? No, this is Millennia. This is the like the firekeeper in all the other games, but this
Gotcha.
my just a maiden. Because that's why everybody's like maidenless. That was such a good meme
Isn't
too.
like the Elden world so like dead and gone that like you're like post mortal sins at this point?
Yeah, like all the gods are kind of rotting away at this point. She just ate your soul, bro. She did just kind of like touch my character, and then my character kind of
You
slumped.
shall burn.
So we'll see. This isn't the end of the game, right? Did I just like select an ending? I'm curious about this. If so, I'm up for it.
For the sake of the new Lord.
Oh, yeah, maybe. She's talking about burning down the Erd tree?
Oh, that does sound like mortal sinish.
Thank you for guiding me here.
Well, she said cardinal.
I was there's a park where in my general area that's on top of like some pretty like steep cliffs, and it's sort of a sad tragedy. Is like every time I go, it's watching the cliffs kind of erode away. And I remember hiking there in like deep winter, like January, February, after like a deep freeze, and I could hear with every step I took that was kind of close to the edge, the cliff, like I hear like the pebbles falling and it eroding in response to my actions. I felt very like I was committing some kind of taboo. Like this is in some deeply primal way like sinful.
You're treading on ground you shouldn't be treading on. Is that kind of?
Yeah. I mean, so with something like erosion is a category I've been kind of like playing with a little bit. It's like there's things you do that can't be undone. Like you can't unerode a cliff.
Oh. We're in a castle with a volcano in the center. Red lightning is coming out.
Is this where Darth Vader lives?
Are we at the end of the world?
Are you on Mustafar?
I don't think we have a name for this. Crumbling Farum Azula.
Who's the patron saint of volcanoes? I feel like I want to know his story or her story.
Do you think it's like somebody from Pompeii?
Oh my gosh, dude. So, I'm publicly an infernalist, but this is like 10, 15 years ago. The Seattle Science Center had a Pompeii archaeology exhibit. And so because it's a great archaeological site because so many things were preserved. And so you got to see a lot of like really, really cool, well-preserved, like classical Roman artifacts. In the very last room, after they have this sort of like mock-up video display to kind of like show you or to give you sort of like a video representation of what it might have felt like to watch the volcano erupt, and like got this like wall of lava that like rushes over the video screen. I was there with my buddy and his like 8-year-old son at the time, and he was really affected by the lava rushing over him. And then the next room, the last room, is just the flash frozen not plaster cast, but whatever magma casts of people that died. And you can just the way their bodies are positioned, you can almost like see the looks on their faces. Like you can see like the agony, the horror. And I was in or just out of seminary at the time, and I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay, 70 AD. You know, the gospel has not penetrated super far into the world at this point in time. Am I supposed to believe that all of these like shells that used to be human beings, due to the happenstance of history, are sitting in hell right now? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? And nothing has done more to make me question journalism than that moment.
I don't know. I think that's why I don't know what it would be called, but my response for the most part has been something like, I trust in the justness of God, however that plays out. If that, if that looks something like universalism, like, fair enough, God can do that. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna pretend I know enough.
Yeah.
The sense I get sometimes is that, if universalism wasn't the case, then God wouldn't be just or something, and that screams a little way too far the other ends. And
yeah, the one cafeteria table where that discussion was going on that I walked into, and like my one kind of like contribution was like, I trust divine rhetoric in the Bible more than I trust my construal of divine metaphysics. Now you still you want to do the metaphysical work and work hard to create a model that you can live within that is as true as possible. That's all good and well. But and I mean, like, just the fact that like the Book of Genesis is a seed that everything grows out of, and the first time or the second time God's justice is called into question was argued with Abraham, and just the question that resounds that Abraham's asking is, "Will not the judge of all the earth do right?"
Hmm.
And you have a story that is both Abraham satisfied in God's justice, and also God stomping the town.
Yeah.
Um,
But
which
also got rescuing the.
right. Judgment and mercy at the same time. Like he from the beginning, God has been a cheater. The game is rigged. I'm gonna post content on this soon. A dramatic reading from one of my favorite books.
Which one?
Uh, on Stranger Tides by Tim Powers. Hasn't made it to my Twitter book list yet.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway,
Hmm.
I have both that and it is to one. It's a story about a guy who gets shanghaied into joining a pirate crew. Um, and at one point in time, one of the members on the ship is like very poorly in an extremely piratey way, telling the story of when God came to Abraham and wanted to stomp Sodom. It's beautiful. It's phenomenal. It's hilarious.
It reminds me of.
And on my last,
I'm finally going through Moby Dick, and it's the
yeah,
early on. It's the retelling of Jonah
mm-hmm.
from the perspective of like a sailor.
Yes. The in the Gregory Peck version or film version of that, Orson Welles plays the preacher.
Oh, okay.
Citizen Kane.
Huh.
But, yeah. There's at some point later on in the book, they do two of the crewmates do a version of the Job story, and they again get it wrong in ways that are interesting.
Yeah, that was one fascinating part about the. I mean, the whole book so far. Like, whenever there's like religious stuff, there's like things that people are getting wrong, but in interesting ways.
Have you gotten to the bit? It's really early on. It's pretty much right after church, where Ishmael sacrifices the Queequeg's idol.
Yes.
Hilarious! Oh my gosh!
Yes.
His like convoluted moral reasoning. It's great. It's so good.
It's like, oh yeah, I would want him to do this for me. So.
Yeah. It's just the golden rule.
Hey Marcus, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Actually, I have to push this thing to talk, but I was just gonna talk while I'm washing the dishes, so I'm actually gonna leave, so I'll just listen.
Oh,
Well,
well, we're
good
glad
one.
you're here.
I'm glad you're
Thank
able to hop on. If you
Yeah.
if you want to stick
buddy.
on, let me know, or you can keep hanging out. But
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Say I gotta pop off soon.
Yeah, I'll just stay on for a while, but I gotta get my hands wet, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing I've learned about myself, now that I've actually discovered my Twitter account and I'm posting like a madman, is it's a complete game changer when you know who you're talking to,
Yes.
when you know who's listening.
Hmm.
I have no desire to shout into the void, which is why it's laying pretty dormant, but I'm not shouting into the void anymore.
Well, that's why streaming is particularly difficult. Is that that's kind of the structure of it for the most part, is that you're screaming to the void.
Yeah. Your spiel beginning, did you kind of like write that out, or is that
No.
extemporaneous?
That was pretty extemporaneous. That was I was going to try to write it out, and then I was having so much trouble because Free Rillian was asking if I could expand on it, and I knew I was going to have to do it someplace.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was planning on trying to do. Oh gosh, dancing dog. And so I was gonna write a Substack article on it, but then when I started writing it, it just, I don't know. I feel like writing like essay style gets really stiff really fast. It's
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you've spoken it out, I think it's worth typing up and still posting literally.
That's fair. But
And
I have a confession to make.
yes, Chad.
hey, we've discovered
didn't
Foxman's
read
dog is
the-
his confessor. So go ahead.
I didn't
Sorry.
read the little zine. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay.
It's online
I
still.
think I
It's all
have
good.
one.
It's all going up online. My article was up today.
I think I have it in the swag bag that I have not opened yet. But my apologies.
Oh no. No, you're
And
totally good.
my confessor Neil was like he made me say 10 Hail Marys and there.
Well, as a non-Catholic, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Actually, no,
It's
I'm
good, it's
disappointed.
good.
Gail was supposed to teach me how to pray the rosary, and we didn't make the time.
My last rosary broke, but for my birthday, my wife got me a new one, so I'm very happy right now.
Mine did too. I'm one bead short.
Mine went through the washing machine.
Mine made it through 3 days or two full days at a punk festival.
Of what?
I feel bad. I was wearing, so I bought it in Sedona, Arizona. Stopped at the Chapel of the Holy Cross, I want to say.
Mhm.
I think that's what it was called. And bought a rosary there in the gift shop, and wore it for the rest of that trip. And the trip ended taking my niece to a punk festival where we went to go see Bad Religion. And I
Okay.
kind of feel bad for the meta whiplash I gave Jesus, because the final day, the last two bands that played were Dropkick Murphys, followed by Bad Religion. And so, for the Dropkick Murphy set, they're like a Boston kind of like culturally Catholic band. And so I was like, so for this set, it's an unironic rosary. And the next band is Bad Religion. I'm like, okay, now Jesus being ironic. And Jesus ironic. Poor guy. He has to go through so much.
Okay, this is bringing up a lot of things I want to talk about.
Do it.
First of all, do any of you, if you don't have to talk about it, of course, if it's personal, both pray the rosary and speak in tongues?
I've
Actively?
done the rosary. I've not spoken in tongues.
I would like to speak in tongues, but hasn't happened yet.
Because as someone who like doesn't do either, just because it's not my tradition, and
Mhm.
that kind of creeps me out from where I come from. Like, but I like hearing about it. So I've talked to people about praying the rosary and the experiences they have. And then what I was talking to someone at Midwestuary, a Pentecostal, one of our Pentecostal friends, and I was asking him about speaking in tongues, and the way he described it, it just like struck me how similar it was to a Catholic describing praying the rosary. But it was early in the morning. I was sleep deprived. That could have been off, but it seemed to me like there was some similarity there.
I think there is
There's
a bit.
flow state probably.
Yeah, I would second
Probably
Chad
something
there.
like a flow.
What's
I would
that?
like to think in certain intense hive mind sessions, I get to the point where I'm typing in tongues, sort of just trying to speak so fast that it's just completely bypassing my filter, which I think is part of what tongues is. It's verbal utterance that's not rationally governed from a physiological standpoint.
That's interesting. Like that kind of makes me think of just when doing creative writing in general. Oftentimes, the thoughts will come faster than I can actually jot them down. So it kind of has this odd flow state thing that happens.
Mhm.
And then when you go back and you read it, it's like sometimes it's almost backwards. Like the sentence structures are kind of backwards because, like, yeah, but not. Yeah, it's almost like Yoda talking or something. Like I can see like Yoda's dialect or the way he talks was an accident on the page, and then George Lucas is probably like, oh, that's how he sounds.
I think there is an element of
I
like that's the
I
way
thought you
that
said you,
Paul talks about it, right? He says like the utterances of the heart. Like there is a certain aspect of being able to communicate without the limitations of language. Almost would be one way of putting it. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just affirming verbally.
Oh,
which I realized is probably
interrupted
not
Mark.
that
Is what I was.
Oh, sorry.
oh no, I was just, when Chad said Yoder, I thought he said Yoder, so I thought he was gonna say like, talk like a Mennonite. Or,
I'm your Mennonite guy, man. I spent way too much time in grad school reading them. A certain Yoder was a massive influence on me for a time. And then we
yeah,
found
I
out
don't
what he
read
did to
them.
all of his research assistants, and then we got upset.
So my
None-
experience with the rosary was very much I think like an act of submission and discipline. I never really got to a place. Well, this kind of probably goes for almost every prayer almost all prayer that I've said was almost more so an act of discipline or trying to submit myself to an act of discipline rather than like a two-way intimacy thing. You know what I mean? That's just my own experience with prayer. But yeah, so that's maybe that makes me a really bad Christian or whatever. But like because I come to the conclusion that it's like, and I did this for a long time with the Lord's Prayer. I would say the Lord's Prayer on my morning walks, and I would have intimate moments with that, and then I kind of like wore so often, did it so often that I found myself doing it when I was brushing my teeth, and it was more like obligatory. Yeah.
But I think there is an element of the Lord's Prayer that's kind of made to do that, like reading the way of a pilgrim, the way of the pilgrim. I don't remember which one's which. But in that he talks about like this concept of like going to sleep, and you're still praying the Jesus prayer, like it's just always going.
Yes. I had that experience with the Jesus prayer because of that book, audiobook. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's like the rosary and the tongue speaking thing. I think that's sort of like two roads to the same place. You have the road of discipline and the road of ecstatic kind of inspiration. But I think they converge on the same place.
Well, the thing with the rosary for me was specific to, it was right around when we found out that we were pregnant, and it wasn't any kind of brilliant idea that I had. It was more so like intuition, or maybe even God conscious thought, where it was like, this is something you need to do to prepare for your daughter, because you don't have respect for women like you should. And so that the rosary to me was like this getting in repositioning what it means to be a man.
That's wild, dude. This is one of the ways I, as a Protestant, am jealous of Catholics, is that they have a very elevated place in the divine realm for the feminine that Protestants don't.
Well, why? I mean, I'm Protestant.
Yeah, I don't fully understand why. And I'm not sure if that's sort of like should be seen as sort of like a deal breaking uh, revelation on my part or not. But it's just, I mean, the Trinity has for the most part masculine pronouns, and I think the Bible is very sophisticated with its use of pronouns in the divine.
I think there is an element of like, I don't know. I don't want to say this in a way that's kind of that could be offensive, so I'm trying to be kind here. But there's a certain sense
Bring
in
the
which like
friction.
you can just kind of take what you want. Oh, I lost Chad.
Expand on that a little bit.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think for the most part, the Protestant reaction to Mary is not because of Mary as much as people would like to think. It's because it's a reactionary piece towards an overemphasis on Mary. But it doesn't mean that like we should just, ignore it entirely. And so why not just reclaim it and just say, you know what, like, yeah, Mary's awesome. Mary is like one of the figures in the Bible that's obedient to God in to like the craziest extent, and is fully human. Is like lays down her life in her own way and is called to being obedient. So yeah, why not lean into it? It's been odd to me because I've had that experience where I've watched videos of people having these conversations across Protestant and Catholic lines, and when the Protestant says that, everybody in the Catholic like chat is like, oh, he's like, you get it now, and it's like, oh, was that all that there was to get? Like, it wasn't anything extra? I don't know.
It's the prayer, it's the veneration bit that's the Protestant hang-up.
Well, I think there needs to be a thorough conversation between the two groups and within their groups about what is worship.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number one thing, and it frustrates me so much because I see all these tweets all the time, being like, veneration is just praying for help. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay, that's good. What is your version of worship? What does it mean when you worship God? What does that look like? Because once I know that, then I'm a lot more confident. Or not confident, but I feel a lot better. But no one has that conversation, which is a little bit...
And this conversation... sorry, go ahead, Mark. I'll let you jump in.
Just real quick, doesn't James say that true worship is visiting the widows and the orphans? I think that's like the only place in the New Testament where they talk about directly what worship is.
I mean, true religion, if there's a distinction between the two.
Oh yeah,
But,
you're right. The word is religion. Yeah. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's also, you ask the question, like, how much is the New Testament just relying on everything the Old Testament says about what worship is? And so every, like, Peter, James, John are like, you know what this is. You've read the book. So it's sort of one of those, if something is so obvious, you don't need to say it out loud. And that might be something that was kind of so obvious, aside from, say, like Paul talking about how the new temple is the church and stuff like that. And there's the question of what is the place of sacrifice in the New Testament, that's the embodied form of worship that's primary in the Old Testament.
Wouldn't that be communion?
That's the question. What role does, say, like,
dying to yourself daily?
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Isn't Christ the sacrifice in the New Testament, and we just partake of it in communion?
Yeah, no, that is the other question. Like, is sacrifice even an ongoing category if Christ is the sacrifice that ends sacrifice forever?
Or do we
his
participate in it?
sacrifice is it still going? Is Christ's sacrifice still going until he returns? Is his death?
Uh,
I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
depending on your view of time, and not only is it like still going, but has been operative from the beginning. It just happened to take place in the middle of history, but Abraham
Right.
participated in it. Jacob participated in it. He's the lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Yeah.
I know I've had that conversation with my brother and my dad, and when I gave that interpretation, they felt extremely uncomfortable about the thought that there is this kind of universal, maybe what is it, the tense, imperfect tense, like this ongoing sense in which the crucifixion is was a reality from all time, but then also it's a
Okay.
particular. Because it seemed
I
in their
mean,
mind it
martyrdom was
undervalued the importance of the crucifixion if it is also a universal, which I thought was
yeah.
interesting.
But I mean, like martyrdom was seen as the continuation of the crucifixion. It's in a sense like Jesus being crucified all over again in his followers, and those that are judging the martyred followers are faced with that moment of decision themselves. They're represented with, you know, being asked to make a judgment upon the innocent victim. Like, how do you plead the case? How do you judge this representative of Christ who is offering his life innocently?
Mm-hmm.
I recently had an experience where I thought I was gonna get martyred, like in a social situation, big time, and I was freaking out. And I thought I was just gonna lose a bunch of relationships. I won't get into it, but yeah, I was really freaking out. And then it didn't happen, and everything just went fine. And when everything went fine, I like messed up in another way and sinned, you know, because I was so not ready for it. And it was kind of funny. Now I'm regretting that, you know, like overcorrected. Basically, yeah, I don't want to get into it, but
It reminds me a
I
little bit.
thought I was,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
no, that's all right. I can't get too much into it. It's too crazy.
It reminded me a little
And
bit of
by that I mean I'm crazy. The situation isn't crazy.
the you mentioning that reminded me of Francis of Assisi and how he was he was convinced that he was like going to be a martyr, and so he would go around and like kind of run into situations to kind of take up that opportunity. So there was like a battle going on, and he let himself be captured by um, the Muslim forces, and they brought him to the leader, and he said like, I I challenge you to basically like have our gods fight each other. Um, Set up a fire, and I will walk into the fire. And if I die, um, my god is like not my god is false, but like we'll send our spiritual leaders into the fire, and then whoever like survives will win.
Mhm.
And he says, if I die, it was on my faith, not it's not God's fault, basically. And the leader is just was so impressed by it, but they were like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like that's not a good idea. Um,
I thought it was more like they just thought he was so ridiculous they wanted to keep him around.
yeah, no, they thought they liked him. But they were like, yeah, we're not doing that though. Like he definitely won them over in that sense. But
Yeah. You say this brings it around to again our question of like what is worship and the proper object of worship. This is where I think the Muslims got to enter the chat or have something unique to say to contribute to the question of like saints versus the Trinity versus solitary devotion to Allah. That's
mhm.
yeah, that's where we get to figure out how metagelical we really want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's complicated. Especially, I don't know. I'm still stuck on the worship stuff because I feel like that's kind of like the linchpin, like what this is. Even like,
Well, it's
is
funny
it?
because
It's
Go
not
ahead.
just prayers, but anyway. Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
I
kind
got
of done with
I
that.
got I got to bounce, guys. But this has
Okay.
been great.
Thanks for
Okay,
Have a
joining.
see
good
ya.
one, Scott.
So you were saying, Mark?
No, I was you were gonna tell me what worship was, and I've been wondering, so I
Oh, I'm
was,
still trying to figure it out.
looking forward to you explaining it to me.
No, I still know. That's kind of the tough part. Is that like when I think of worship, I don't know what you think of, but my mind goes to like David kind of like dancing and like writing songs and doing these type of things. And so but that's very Protestant, right? Like that's kind of what I think of. And so evangelical style worship looks like worship to me. Like it's echoing that view of what it is versus kind of Catholic style worship or any of these, like the actual kind of ritual, the act of mass. In that is some sort of worship, but I'm not as attuned or aware to what that kind of entails or what that looks like, and so that's a limitation in my understanding.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, for sure. Like David was the worship. He was like the leader of the worship team
Mhm.
for sure. Um, but then the sacrifices, those were kind of a ritualized worship,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And
but
so that goes back to
you know,
what you were
I
saying,
don't
right?
know.
Like,
Yeah,
what is this sacrifice ongoing? Is this the sacrifice of you know, our actions, are the way we live, or dying to ourselves, or is the sacrifice one and done? I think that's more of the Protestant kind of view, where we have empty crosses in our churches because Christ is risen. We don't need to worry about the crucifixion to a certain amount anymore because it happened.
we don't have to worry about it anymore.
I mean, we don't have to focus on it. Like there's this kind of aversion to, at least in my tradition, right? This isn't true of like Episcopal or more of the kind of formalized, like family trees, but in mine, like we don't do Stations of the Cross, for example. We don't really think
Sure.
about the crucifixion more than we really have to. And so there's a whole bunch of arguments I've heard about, our collective discomfort with depicting Christ on the cross, that it seems to ignore the resurrection. And it's interesting to see how these like traditions kind of focus, right? Like Protestants tend to depict an empty cross. Catholics tend to show a crucifix, and they focus on these specific moments, and then the Orthodox tend to focus on the Transfiguration. It seems to be one of like the core pieces of their
Really?
theology. Yeah, which does,
Because
yeah.
the tradition I grew up in, we do communion weekly.
Mm.
We're like so low church, we're almost high church, ironically, but seriously. But I don't know. I kind of figured that in communion, a lot of the time you should be thinking about the crucifixion. But that's interesting. You're comparing Protestants focusing more on the resurrection than on the cross, because it seems like the resurrection is something that's just comforting. The cross is something you almost have to make yourself think about. However, the cross is extremely comforting when you're in pain, you know?
Hmm.
It's like when you're in distress, the cross is strangely helpful. I don't mean to make it sound like some little self-help thing, but that's
Yeah.
been my experience lately.
No, that's fair. I think that that's part of the reason why, like, Protestantism tends to lean, or not tends to, but has the potential to enter into the prosperity gospel stuff. There is that certain element of, you know, we don't want to focus on the bad stuff. We want to focus on it becoming better. Without, it's like the pain isn't comfortable. But again, that's not uniform across everybody. It's just been my experience or seeing that kind of show up. And
It's kind of weird because like,
Hmm?
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, when I've had kind of situations in which I've felt like things aren't right, or things have been painful, I've had to go outside of my own tradition to find somebody to kind of speak to that a little bit more. It's harder to find. In my experience, it's been harder to find that closer to home.
Yeah, I would have never made it back to my own tradition if I hadn't had like the internet in the corner to have other traditions bring me back to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not even in those traditions and I don't do their practices, but just their outlook and theologies and stuff. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, how's it going?
Evening, gents. I just
What's
got
up,
back
Ron?
from. Hey, dude. I just got done with my fajitas, and
Ooh,
yeah, we're pretty happy.
sounds nice.
Thought I'd jump on. Yeah, so just catching up. I heard you guys talking about going outside of your silos
Mm-hmm.
to get help.
Yeah, and we're talking a little bit too about some of the like experienced limitations of like specific traditions, both in like just kind of built in like a specific focus on certain things and others and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I was pointing out
Yeah, 'cause,
how,
like-
like in Orthodoxy, there's a focus on the Transfiguration. In Protestantism, it tends to be on the resurrection, and in Catholicism, it tends to be on the crucifixion.
It's like when in my tradition, the things that I was seeking were there. It's just they weren't emphasized
Yes. Yeah.
as much as other things. It's like now it's like, oh, I can still definitely be in my tradition. It's all there. It's just it wasn't the main thing. And so what I needed, what I didn't know that I needed, I didn't know was there because I didn't even know I needed it at the time. But it was there.
Yes.
What was that?
What's that?
What was it that was there?
Well, it was It's like Colossians 3, like um let the peace of Christ dwell in you richly. Um, have the mind of Christ. These things, oh, like you have put on the new self and put off the old self, like more of I hate the word experience. I'm coming to hate it, but you know, like experiencing the presence of God.
Mhm.
And not even that I feel God. It's just like, oh, I recognize that the whole reason for me existing is to commune with God. And so that should be all day long. And like I was kind of raised as like, you do this, you do this right, and then you just be good for the rest of your life. And if you're lucky, you go to heaven when you die, you know? And that's kind of the way I was that's how I saw what I was taught. And I'm sure there was other stuff, but um it was like just be sure to have these doctrinal things down, like
Mm.
certain doctrinal details that we're just going to talk about every other week because they set us apart from all other traditions and they're really important. You got to do these things, and we're just going to like prove them over and over and over. When it's like, really, I just need to like see Jesus.
Right.
And I didn't know you could see Jesus. Like if nobody in my church ever said that. Like no, if you would have said that in my church, people would have just like smiled at you and then laughed at you later after you left. But
Okay.
but now I have a bunch of times, and it's all been my imagination, but it's like real at the same time.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
yeah.
I think the word uh, the word imagination gets a bad rap. They talk. Martin Shaw is a fella I really enjoy, and he uses the word imaginal, and I guess maybe it came from a philosopher, maybe an Islamic one too, who was Islamic, maybe a Sufi, I'm not sure, but I think I know imagination gets a bad rap.
You burn
It's
in
like
the round
faith.
table. The round table
It's
holds serve to, and if the earth tree meet in the round table.
just because it's in your imagination doesn't
I
mean it's not
understand you,
real.
but she's my daughter. I took her in. No, I mean, so I put it to do not hesitate despite her look.
Well, I
How
mean
does that?
that was kind of Vervaeke's thing about that. I'd never even listened to Vervaeke, but I loved his talk at Midwestuary, basically saying that what we think is our logic is imagination.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's our imaginations. Like if I'm gonna walk down the road, I'm gonna imagine myself doing it. I can't prove that it's even there. It's my imagination. Uh, Something like that.
So where did you find the imagination taken seriously? Or, what other place helped you out?
I mean, I hate to say it, but like leaving the faith for a while, doing Eastern mysticism, meditation and stuff, like I don't do that at all. But
Take a
it
look
opened
around.
my mind up
Don't
to the like
worry.
there's
Continues, which
more
is why I need your
dimensions
help.
to
His
myself,
roots are so he won't
you
lasso
know,
his shackles, and it is
and
high time he
and
put
then
them.
I feel like I went down some very wrong roads with that, but it still showed me that like there's other dimensions to myself that need God, and I never had earlier in my faith like applied Christianity to, like the depths of my heart, you know. And
Mm.
so yeah, like the imagination. Well, I don't know that there's just when I was coming back to the faith, and I still kind of am. I'm
I
in, but
see.
I'm like not comfortable. It's like there's times where I'm very distressed, and I've like made so many mistakes over my life. So I just and so there's been times where I'm so stressed out, and then all of a
Did
sudden I
I
will just
lose
have a
somebody?
Oh,
all
I can still
all
hear
of a
him.
sudden I will like see, and I'm not a visual person. I'm more of an auditory person. So I'm
I
not good at
see.
like drawing faces from memories or describing things that I've seen, but I will just get, and it's not even I'm looking for it. All of a sudden, just Jesus will be in my imagination so clearly, like so, um, like detailed
I see. You're
and
here.
just like there. And I wasn't even trying for that to happen. It just boom, just pops up. And it, it's happened probably like half a dozen or more times. Like the first time it happened was like when I was contemplate, like I knew I was coming back to the faith, and I didn't I didn't know how I was going to do that or if I could, because I'd gone so far,
I
and
see.
I didn't even know if I believed any of this stuff. And so, but then I was like, there's nothing else. I've tried all these other things, and Jesus is
Mhm.
calling me back. So I was I kind of said a prayer. I was like, if you'll have me back, I will literally be the least person in the kingdom. I will be the bottom of the rung and ask for nothing. And then all of a sudden I had like a vision in my imagination that I was like walking in the desert with Jesus in his ministry in Galilee or whatever. And I was like in the back of the crowd. Like he was walking down a road and everybody was gathered around him trying to talk to him. And I was like in the very back.
Mm.
So he wasn't, it's like, it wasn't even like I was near him. I could just be at the very back of the crowd. And yeah, so that was like the first one I had.
Mm.
And I've had a few others since. But yeah, it's just like my imagination, but it's just like it's not summoned by me. It just pops in all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I found that Vicky said that really stood out to me, which is that, you know, like imagination is real. Like it's not fake. Um, like the way that we see it in our culture or the way we talk about it. Like imagination is almost like a slur for, you know, um, to call something fake. But it is real, right? It's your mind is experiencing it. You are seeing something.
Yeah, and what we it's like not only is our imagination real, but a lot of what we think is real is just our imagination. I guess that's just saying the same thing, but
I
but that being
lost you.
said, I don't think everything's in our head, you know.
Right.
There is reality. There is material reality. But just the way we interact with it is not the way I think I do.
Right. I'll throw you out my opinion. Is I think the imagination is a major interface between us and God. I think that's where when His Spirit talks with our spirit, I think one of the major ways He communicates is through our imagination. And I think for me, like an easy proof for that would be dreams. God, I think everyone would agree and knows that God talks through dreams. And they're real, they're significant. And would it be fair for me to say that dreams are that's pure imagination?
Well, I think it's also important to say that like not just the good stuff comes through dreams, but the bad stuff comes through dreams as well, right? Like the imaginal is this kind of playground of the spiritual.
Right. Yeah.
That's part of the reason why like I'm pretty sure it's the Orthodox who say like when you're praying you should not try to imagine stuff. Like if it comes, it comes. I think is the way that they kind of treat it. But they're very careful about that. They say like, don't try to picture something.
Right.
That's how their tradition has kind of taken up that side of things. But it's very much a part of the spiritual realm, or however you want to put it.
I think.
I actually,
I'll go for it.
I guess I'll end it up. I had
No,
a
you're
weird
fine, dude.
I had a weird experience yesterday. I have this electronic music program where it like has fake voices that I can sing into it and just change the voice into like, you know, a woman or another guy, or and then change pitch and just change everything about it. And so I've been making religious music with it, and I got there's this feature where you can like I found you can put people at different part of a room, so you can have one person like, you know, up front and to the right, another person up front and to the left, and I was like rearranging these people, and I closed my eyes and I was listening to them, and all of a sudden I was just like in a room with these people, and I just had this feeling like they I can make these people do whatever I want. They're basically like my servants, you know? And I kind of started just drifting off into a weird space. And then I just like snapped out of it. It was so strange, you know? Like it was like, I don't know, whatever. Sorry for interrupting.
No? Oh. Ron. I think I might be being called by my lovely wife, so I might have to hop off and close the stream down. But do either of you have last words for anybody still watching the stream?
It's good meeting you guys, and it's good hanging out tonight.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Well, thank you both.
All right, you
for...
fellas have
now I'm just not looking.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Yeah. Oh, it's more than just flashing icons. I know who's behind the icons. That's pretty cool.
News.
I can use my imagination.
There you go.
Peace out, bro.
Yeah.